So probably a little bit different than what you were taught in the 122 class. The way that I would approach terracing would be to create the pad that I'm looking for. So for example, right here I've created a pad, and this pad is 3 feet tall and 35 feet by 35 feet. Okay? And what I typically do after that is I copy it on top of itself. Right? And so then I end up with this sort of sandwich, right? 2 slices of bread with nothing in the middle. It's an air sandwich. And what I do is I take that and I put it up onto the terrain at the elevation that I'm looking to put it at. So, for example, I might take both of these, and just for the heck of it, I'm going to group them real quick because I can always ungroup them. So I'm going to turn those into a group, and I'm just going to move them. So move you guys from, and notice that I'm going to move it from somewhere in the middle, right? I'm going to move it from somewhere in the middle, and I'm moving it from where the 2 sandwiches meet. I'm not picking the top or the bottom. Do you guys notice that? Okay, you'll see why. So I'll zoom out and zoom in here, and I'm going to say, well, I'm going to put this thing probably about this terrace level right here. Okay? Or maybe I'll go up from this one a little bit. Maybe we'll put it here. Okay? Now if I switch this into more of a shaded mode, I can start to see what portion of my pad is being cut, what portion would be cutting, and what portion would be sticking up. And what I can tell you right now is that there's not much sticking up. And so I'm going to go up. I'm going to take my group and I'm going to go up a foot. And then take a look at it and say, well, that's not bad. That's not bad. Let me put it in ghosted mode and see if there's any underneath. There still is some underneath. See it right there? So I'm looking at that and I'm going to say, well, maybe I'll go up another foot. Oops, that one. Let's say go up 12. All right. So now the bottom of this is resting right on there. Okay. And when I look at it from above, I can tell that this much soil is going to be cut and this much is going to be filled. So I would say that that's not quite balanced. So what I might try to do is move this back a little bit. All right, and so I'll move it back a little bit more. And so now everything from that line back is being cut and everything from that line forward is being filled. I'm going to say that that's kind of looks like about half and half. I don't know for sure, but I think it does. All right? Okay, so now I can ungroup these. You don't have to group them if you don't want to. All right? And I can just simply take the Boolean difference tool, right? Grab the model and difference out the top layer. And I now have my pad, which has got this much cut out and this much filled in. All right. Now there's one last thing that I've got to do in order to clean this whole thing up is I've got to union this to this. So let's use the union tool. And you probably don't want to do this until the very end. So I take those two and I union them together. And notice that there's still this stripe going through here, right? So the last thing that you have to do for that is come over here to Solid Tools and use this little tool right here, which is Merge All Coplanar Faces. So you right-click and then click that, press Enter, and lo and behold, bada bing, bada boom, we have our terrace. Okay? Any questions about how I did that? It's all recorded. It's 420. Now it's 422. Now it's 426. But it was 420 when I finished. So, duly noted? Okay. All right. I guess I'm going to stop this right here, and I'm going to let you guys go ahead and do this. I'm going to give you guys probably about 5 terraces, and the 5 terraces are going to have to be at 3-foot differentials, all of them. Okay? Any questions about that? No? Yes, Batul.
Do they have to be the same shapes as yours, like squared or?
Yes, you're going to be given some specific pad sizes, and you are going to be required to place them. I will warn you, one of the requirements is going to be that they do have to have some level of overlap, and another requirement will be that they have to have a pretty close to balanced cut and fill. Okay? The way I would probably approach this is I would build my model first without doing the union and merge coplanar faces and all that, right? That way I have something to refer back to. Another thing that you can do, let me back this up, right? Another thing that you can do is you can split this by the upper portion. So let's try that. Let me see if that works. So split. Or no, let's see, Boolean. Let's try a Boolean split. So we'll click on that, and then we'll click on that. And I don't know if it did it or not. Let's see. Delete that. Yes, it did. So there is the amount of cut that I did. So I used the Boolean two-way split, right? You guys all learned that in design, not in design, but in Digital 1 and Digital 2. And so right there, I know exactly how much I'm adding to it. And I could go the other way. I could take this object and do the two-way split. So I could take that one and split it by this one. And I now have my fill. And so there is how much cut and fill I have. Would you guys say that that's it's relatively close to balanced? Yeah. It is. It's not bad, huh? It's not perfect, but it's not a crater. It's not one big cut into the hill. Right? You can actually, I think, let me see. Let's try area. Area. Take that. And it is, you'd have to think about this in feet, right? But it is 158,111 cubic inches. So how do you convert cubic inches to cubic feet? What's 12 times 12? Times 12? Yeah, now you got to do some math. Now you got to get the calculator out, right? But if you wanted to take this and turn it into cubic feet, you would divide it by 12 times 12 times 12. I don't know what the number is offhand. Right, but that'll give you cubic feet. But I tell you what, so we picked that one. Let's do it again on this one. So see, they're not too far apart. One was 155, the other one's 165. So I did pretty good just eyeballing it as far as cut and fill. Now, one of the things that you guys are going to have to do is you guys are going to have to prove to me, right, that you balanced your cut and fill. So I'm guessing that really you're going to have to do it this way, okay? And then later you can put it all there and Boolean it and then merge coplanar faces and yada, 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 okay? But you probably should have both of those somewhere. Any questions? No? All right. And I will stop this at 8 minutes and 51 seconds, and then I'll give you the assignment.